Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Brent. How are we this morning? This fine Friday morning. Let me do that. There we go. I'm like, what? So, how is everybody this morning? How are we doing? Um, I'm doing fine so far. I mean, I'm tired, but that's mostly because of the muscle pills that I take and nothing to do with COVID. I haven't had any symptoms of COVID short of the weird mucus crap and the cough for the last 3, 4 days now, which is good because I need to get to work tomorrow or Sunday. Sunday, I have a class, so we've got to get up and running. So, anyway, let's see, what are we doing today? Does anybody know? Maybe. I was doing signage. So, what I kind of want to do today. So, we did this so that I can bring it up like this every show. And it suddenly occurred to me that I could do this on each, I don't know. I really want to finish scripting because I really want to get started on my comics. But 2 and 3 both have little holes, and we just need to make sure it's just little bit movements that need to move back and forth, which means we're at the end of scripting for me, which is great because I'm kind of getting burned out on scripting. So kind of not looking forward to doing scripting, and that means that it probably should do today a script. Because once we're done scripting, this phase of the Matrix Rising is done, and I will go back to working on issue 27, which is next week's mission. So there's that. So, but first, there's more. I'm going to look for this. Control Shift S, not E. I don't know why I keep doing that. I guess I don't need to do this myself, but really need to find a spot where Pia is online. Can't find that as easy. Already having connection issues. Yeah, I don't have a image for the first cover of Pia. You know it's spelled like Sopapilla, right? So it's Pilla because it's in Spanish. I say that in case you're going to go look for it. You won't find it under Pia. Mine is clearly the most important copy. That's why it's Biggie full. Okay. Thank you. That's about the right size too. Look at that. Do I want to do it this way? Do I want to do it another way? We'll center these a little. Give a little bit of rotation to them so we can put stuff on top here. Yeah, there we go. Something more like this. So we put a thing on top on each one of these and then aside from this. Yep. It was. I don't know why you're sticking your tongue out at us. guess. You fuzzy. Hi. How are you? Yeah, nobody's seen your butt yet today. This is important. Think of all those people that have not seen your butt. Yeah, think of all those people that have not seen your butt. Your butt. How do you know these things? Is this a kitty sense? Is there a kitty sense that you all have? I know, right? Well, the funniest part about this is that I'm trying to type on here and he's doing this thing that blocks me from seeing what I'm typing. So it's like he knows where my eyes are and he's purposely trying to interject his head. Which, why are you doing that? Am I? All of us have got these names that are I'm going to put it on this thing because then we can use this. Hey, Sansi. Okay. It's totally fine, man. You do you. I've had days like that too. I think we all have, huh? So it's all good. It's all good. I'll figure out where your stream is at some point. And if you're following me, I'll follow you at some point too. I'm in the middle of trying to copy and paste a whole bunch of stuff, though. So. Excuse me. Okay, good. Then I'll follow you tomorrow. Or I'll follow you after the show. Because I don't want to bring up my Twitch stuff here and have everybody watch me. Because that's weird. And apparently, people steal your passwords and stuff. I don't know. People are weird. No, I guess that's fine. One can argue that I'm not necessarily an adult either. Yeah, what I usually will do is I know that there's now a generation gap. I can see it. Like people are gapped out now, and I don't, like I'm already not understanding some of the words of the current culture now, and I'm like, wow, I never thought I'd be here, but here I am. So what I do is I do my best. Like, I understood some of that. Didn't understand any of that. Okay, and I just do what I can. It's all good. We all get older. That's an inevitability. That's all right, so long as you're good with us being, kids of the 80s and 90s. That's pretty much who, with the exception of Kat. Kat's pretty young, but the rest of us are pretty much 80s, 90s kids. So, which is fine. We got the good news is we're all Gen X, which means that we're pretty laid back. It's like they didn't nuke us. They swore up and down we were going to get nuked, and we didn't get nuked. So, we're all kind of like, well, we survived not getting nuked. Look at us. We didn't get nuked. I do, however, have a kids thing. Good morning, Ron. You're a poet. You have a new I just lost a vocation, a new calling that you didn't even know you had. Got the background done for Silver Pentacle 2. I am going to be doing the foreground this next week. So you should see a result on that one in the next week. I got COVID, so I ended up kind of getting waylaid. But it wasn't bad. I'm vaccinated and everything, so it was just like a bad cold. But it has messed up all of my stuff. It's all right, Sansi. You're good. You can stick around if you need to. You can lurk. So, yeah. So, Ron, we'll be doing that next week, and should be done. I'm kind of doing the here's the hard part of this cover, and so I'm kind of a little trepidatious. I'm like, oh boy, it's a little scary. So, but I also don't like it hanging over my head. So, whoop. Okay. What? I probably can pop over there and figure out how to run this thing. I wonder if I can do that. Maybe. I have a private boot. I don't even know what that means. Okay, so lost TwitchCon Las Vegas is now open. Why is that important for me? Yeah. I don't think... I don't even know how to get to my channel now. Now I'm like, how do I get to my channel? What's the button? That's the button. There, my channel. Look at me. Finding my channel. Boy, am I smart. Okay. Okay, we've closed that. Shield mode is on. I don't know what that means. I think that Sansi is actually over on Can's channel, not mine. Which is fine. I can just search. Yeah, I can search. There. Oh no. So, all I was saying, Ron, was that I'm going to dedicate all of next week, to getting the front part of the cover done, because I've got the back part done, the ship and the ocean and things like that. I got them. So, thanks, Can. I got him. We're good. So that's all I was just gonna say, was that next week I'm dedicating to getting the front part of that cover done. This week I'm dedicating to finishing the scripts for my next 2 issues, so that they'll be done. And I'm just trying to get groups of things done, like finish one chunk of something and then move to something and then chunk of something, so that I can kind of keep myself from burning out on things. So yeah, that's all I was gonna tell you. Yeah, one project to another. You got it. Although I'll bet you are more organized than I am. I'm just saying. So, there we go. We do the best we can. Yeah. You're welcome. At least between when Can gets on, he'll follow you likely as well. That gives you at least 2 more followers. So, all right. It's not as bad as, I mean, I'm up on the side of Hackberry Hill, so we'd have to get to the point where people are building arcs for there to get water up near my house, because I'm on the side of the hill. But I did see some of the low-lying areas of Arvada have kind of gotten pretty deep in the water and stuff like that. So other than that, I mean, it's a lovely day as far as rain goes. I really like it when it rains because all of our trees turn such a brilliant shade of green. And I really like that. Unfortunately, I've lived in Colorado so long, well, all my life. I'm a, that after like 3 days of rain, I'm just like, I'm so depressed, because it starts to become depressing because we just aren't used to this kind of stuff. Like, people on both coasts, it stays overcast for a week. Both Mariah and I, we had such troubles when we were in Tokyo because it would do that. It would rain for like 2 weeks straight. And we're like, how do you people not just, oh, this is so depressing. Because here, we're lucky if we get 3 days of straight rain. Right? Everything out here, my yard, like we've got a plum tree. And the plum tree is got little flowers on it right now, and the apple tree's got little flowers on it, and even old oak back there. I got an old oak, and even he's coming out with some green leaves. I love it because this overlooks the park over there, and the grass is very verdant, and like the trees across the way and over there, everything's so pretty, and so I really love it. I know, right? All morning, just so vibrant. It's very pretty. Colorado has its moments, doesn't it? So yeah, we're doing great, and I realize that we don't advertise ourselves enough. So I'm making a panel. We can do this. And it's 2 words. Yep, you're still a cat. Okay, what do we think, guys? Do we think I could put like QR codes up on this and people would be able to beep it on the screen? I mean, I guess if we can get QR codes on the screen here, because this thing has like this QR code thing, support the show, buy us a coffee thing, right? Oh, and whenever we hit the little boopity boop, it actually like sends it out on everything too, or just weirdly YouTube. I wonder if I can do something like that. What do you think? Can we do that, George? Yeah, big roof. So this is the second time you've been up here in like 15 minutes. Are you feeling lonely? Feel like everybody's abandoned you? Is that what's going on here? Huh? All right. I'm going to play this game here. I did. I got back to Ben Dunn and sent him all of Bellatrix Rising that exists so far, and he said he'd tell me when there was an opening in the calendar. And so that was really cool. I don't know if that means that it's a shoe-in that he's going to put Bellatrix Rising in. I don't know what that means necessarily. He sent me a series of like I don't want to say it's a contract. It was, we're going to do this thing or that thing or the other with your work. You have every right to keep your work, yada, yada, yada. And I emailed him back and, said, that's awesome. Is there anything, is there any problem with me putting it on Global Comics? And his response was, we don't ask anything of you. So there's no conflict. And I thought that was really cool because he's like, we don't want to control your work at all. You have absolute control over it. We're just renting it to put it in our books. I was like, that's sweet. So we'll see. I don't know if that means that, he'll get back to me if they ever decide to use it, or if they are determined to use it, and he'll get back to me whenever. I don't know what it means necessarily, but it sounded positive. So it's definitely a plus. So, and Kayan is trying to finish up Armageddon Divinity so that he'll be sending that into Ben as well very soon. So, but yeah, so that was exciting. I have a quick question while I have you on. I would be honored and shocked if they did, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it to the universe to figure out which way that die roll goes, I guess. I have a question for you real quick, Ron, about Fort Collins Comic Con. Is Todd running Fort Collins Comic Con, or is that somebody else running Fort Collins Comic Con? And the reason I ask is because I don't know if tables are still open on Fort Collins Comic Con or not. But we should probably look into it. Kayan and I have been sharing tables, and it's been very good for us. So, but we haven't gotten involved in Fort Collins Comic Con because I missed all of the announcements about it, and I don't know who's in charge and who to talk to. So I was going to ask you if you knew anything about tables being taken up yet or not. So I feel like you're feeling lonely. Nick Armstrong. Okay. I will. I'll get a hold of him after the show this morning, because I didn't know if that was a thing still open or not. Which means then I pass this to Kayan, who I know is also watching, and saying, do you want to go 50-50 with me on a table? Because, of course, I can't table at NDK. So once we get to that side of the year, I would love to join you. I think that'd be awesome. I think that would be awesome. Okay, I'm going to try this. Oh, into the conversion. There we go. Oh, it's going to stick it up there. Don't stick it up there. How do I find a better place for you to put this thing? It's right in the whole point of this. See you later. You stay dry too. Fix this. Because put the other ones in the bottom. all I want to do is screen cap that QR code. And the funny part about this whole thing is it keeps sticking it up in the upper left-hand corner, right underneath the timer. It's showing how long we've been broadcasting and the number of people who are watching. So I can't screen cap this code. Let's see if that works. Nope. I'll add it down here. QR code plus image. There. Now it'll be down here at the bottom. Look at that. If you guys start clicking the things, just be aware all they are is just heading to exactly what's above it. That's the same link, isn't it? Is this going to be the same thing? Am I going to, like, I'm not smart enough to figure this out. I can't get my phone to beepy bop on it. You know, okay. This is the look of, really? Fine. All right. Because now it's, that look was because it saves it now. It's a refresh link here where it takes this QR code. Jeez. Takes this QR code and links it internally. So if I change these, then that goes nowhere else. Okay, never mind. You know what? Because every time we fire these off, it and somebody hits it with their or another, it sends a track back to restream saying, hey, you got 2 people who hit the QR codes. I love that. The problem, of course, is that it means that it just means that QR codes are permanent. That's really not a bad thing. Oh, Pepper's here. Hi, Pepper.
Hello. So, QR codes?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to make. Okay, so last night I had a realization that we needed something that looked like this, right? So that we can put it up on the screen when people go, wait, when's your next stream? Oh no, when's your next stream? Stuff. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's very useful. You know what else we really need? Something that says, hey, are you looking for the things that we are creating here on the stream? Click here.
Yes, Will has reminded me I need to do that.
Yeah, because if you've got a spot that you want me to send people to, I will happily put it on this yellow page that I am making right now.
Right now, the only thing that I have that I want people to buy is my Oracle deck, which that's at peppercopia.com.
Okay. Do you have a picture of it?
Of
your deck?
Of the deck?
Nicely like staged.
Well, as nice as I can, yeah.
Cool. I can put it on this page.
Do I send it to you or Brent?
Send it to me. Brent's not doing this. I mean, Brent's doing his own things that are really awesome. But this is
okay.
Manipulating the stream stuff is stuff that I'm good at because I've been doing it for a while. Just need to make this a little bit smaller so that it fits. Yeah. 8.75, really? And then I can put you right over here on this side.
Sent.
Actually, you know what I can also do is this.
And then, let me see here real quick.
You can just PM me that.
And then I'm sending you a thing to my shop. The only thing in there right now is the Oracle deck, so.
That's all right. That is totally acceptable, dude. That is far more than enough. We can make that work. That's perfect.
There you go.
All right. This is one of those things that always kind of makes me mad because I start to realize at some point that we really should have been doing this like 5 years ago. And we weren't. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh man. Aggravates me. That's all right. That's all right. We'll get there. I'm gonna also do that. both you and Raph have. Long, because you get your websites up there. I think everybody knows how to use websites by now. I don't really need to say the HTTP.
Well, if you're not able to use a website by now, I think you have other issues.
Right? If you can't use a website by now, you will never, ever use a website. I'll figure this part out in a minute. Now Pepper is the most important person.
No, I'm not.
When I brought in my comic cover, it was like massive. It took up the entire thing, and I'm like, I am the most important person. And then I had to shrink it down. And I just did the same thing with your picture too. I brought it in, and of course, it's 17 times larger than the rest of it. And I'm like, now Pepper is the most important person. It's funny in my head. But you've all known that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I got breakfast this morning, I decided to do an old asthma hack.
Oh.
I got a caffeinated beverage. I'm sick of coughing.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm sick of being quarantined. I get out of quarantine tomorrow. Oh, good. Quacksite. That works too. I will need that. What's the point? It just, I'm having a moment where, oh, hey, I can create a QR code for this image in here. What's the point of that? Oh my God. It's all right. Christina is talking to you at the moment, if you're wondering.
Hmm?
Christina is talking to me.
Oh. Tell her it's a tie.
Yep.
No? Okay. That's fine too.
Pepper says, quote, hi. That's random in the middle of the conversation. Yeah, there's still space there. Well, Ron was just here and just said that there's still space.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm talking about what Cam just posted. So, since Todd said, or since Ron says that there's space, we could probably just email Todd and say, "Can you send us the Fort Collins list?" I'll do it because he's already kind of grumpy at me from time to time. Anyways. Not really grumpy at me, but I hate picking on con chairs and saying, "Give me a table."
I got my table already. And when I signed up, it was like, the count was like, I guess they told me there was only like 52 spaces when I got my table. So, but then again, that could have been an error on the computer side.
I have so many different messages going right now that I literally. All right. What am I in the middle of doing here?
Give me a second. What the? That's weird.
What?
Ugh, nothing.
Okay.
No, my computer. When I'm broadcasting on the show, my computer's not supposed to go off or like turn off. Like the screen's not supposed to turn off.
Right.
And so, like, if you all of a sudden like I go like weird or something,
Mm-hmm.
that's my computer basically turning off.
Right.
But it doesn't really turn off. It basically keeps you there. I can hear you. I just can't see you. If that makes sense.
Totally does. And I feel like I should make some kind of Star Trek joke here.
With the teleportation malfunctions?
No, it's the I can see you but I can't hear you. Why are they taking Genesis away from us? Jim, you have to do something. I quote Star Trek 2 at the drop of a hat. I don't even need prompt.
That's Genesis. Okay, yeah.
Yes. It's the scene where they first get the message from Regular One, Dr. Marcus, and it's all like staticky and it's being jammed by the Reliant. That's what she says. She goes, "I can see you, but I can't hear you. Why are they taking And so as soon as you said that, I was like, why are they taking Genesis away from us? No one's taking Genesis. Oh man, I really do love Star Trek. I'm just, it's a thing.
Once Space Duck is all laid out, I think I'm gonna lay out the finish laying out the Penelope and the Space Pirates one too.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I think I have a few of those. Oh no, I have those all laid out. Okay. Good. Alright.
All of a sudden, I've got all this like random work that I've got to do real quick.
What random work?
Well, for example, I've got to send a letter to all of my kiddos' teachers because he keeps doing the, oh, the reason why this is still not completed is because she hasn't graded it yet. I finished it already. And then like 3 months will go by and it's still considered missing. And I'm like, I don't think she's not grading it. I think you failed to do something. No. It's because she hasn't graded it yet. I'm like, okay, but she called it missing on like January 5th. So still trying to figure out how is it that it's still missing and it's May, Oh, I don't know. She must not be doing it. So I'm writing a letter to them going, hey, he's saying that these assignments are, you guys aren't doing the assignments. So can you verify that if there's any assignments out there that, you still need to grade or whatever? I'm very annoyed. It's difficult being a teacher, and I know it is. But he's been playing games on his laptop in class. And
Gotcha.
the teachers keep sending me emails saying he's playing games on the laptop in class. And I'm like, okay, do you want me to block Google? No, don't block Google because he's playing online games. No, don't block Google because we use that in class. And I'm like, well, you guys have the ability to audit his machine from your teacher's desk. I don't. What do you want me to do? Yell at him? I mean, like, I get it, and I will help in any way I can. I just don't know how in the world to help that. Hey, Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Because, I'll totally help him, and I'll help them. But if they don't block it in class, then I can't do anything except block Google. And if I do that, he won't be able to do any assignments online. And that's what's going to happen next is that I'm going to block Google. And then he'll go, I can't do the assignment because my dad's blocked Google. And then they'll write to me and say, please don't block Google. And then I'll say, okay, well then will you guys please stop him from playing games? I'm not going to go to class with him every day and sit next to him and make sure he's doing his job.
Yeah.
I'll do everything in my power to try to convince him that it's important for him to not play games. But he's not, he's on the verge of being a teenager. He doesn't want to listen to me.
Well, he also doesn't want to do
the work.
Well, I mean, if he's a typical teenager, he probably is just not really wanting what it sounds like. He doesn't really, he's not interested.
Yeah. Well, it's
You know,
the
like,
problem we've got is he's ADD and unmedicated at the moment because he's uninsured. So we're trying to navigate this as best as we can while we try to figure out how to get insurance for him. And so he's running uninsured. You know what it's like to be in 7th grade with ADD. I know what it's like. You just you don't know why you started playing the game. It was just a better choice than doing your homework.
I'll be realistic with you though. My school experience and your kid's school experience and your school experience are vastly different than what I had.
Probably, but it's still the same thing. You weren't intentionally being a jerk. You were suffering from the effects of ADD. It was hard to focus in class, and it's harder than the average person to focus in class.
Well, yeah. I mean, I also had my aunt as one of my teachers.
Yeah, I understand. But what I'm trying to it's not a matter of the culture. What I'm trying to say is it's difficult for ADDers to stay on task. We usually, I mean, what we're doing right now is a trick to keep us on task, you and me. We can't do this in school. You can't just buddy up with your person next to you and both of you guys finish the test together. So
yeah,
it's it's one of those things. He can't have somebody else turn off all the games, because they don't want to do that. So
yeah,
they're assuming he's going to be a normal kid, and he's not. He's an ADDer. He's doing all the ADD things. He's recently started doing the avoidance of transitions. I don't want to transition, so instead I'm going to lie. Like this morning, do you have your phone with you? Yep, got it with me. The phone's sitting right there, like right next to him, right? As he walks out the door without his phone. So if it's raining this afternoon, he gets to walk home without calling me because he can't. But that's not lying in the traditional sense. That's an ADD lie, which is a completely different problem. In real life, the kid is painfully honest, which means that I'm doing a relatively good job. It's not your fault that you have ADD, but it is your responsibility that you have ADD. But it's kind of like having an unruly cat in your world. Like George knocks over the glass of water and it breaks. It's not your fault that the glass of water fell to the ground and broke, but you still have to clean up the glass of water, It doesn't matter. You still have to fix the problem. You can't just leave the glass lying there. It's not my problem. The cat did it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. So I've been doing a good job of explaining that to him. And he's been following that pretty well. But now I've got to explain to the teachers and say, he doesn't want to do these assignments. So he's been saying, she's locked me out. But the last meeting that we all had as a team, you had said that he can go back at any time and enter in all of the old assignments that are missing to get a reduced grade. Well, now he's got an F in one of his classes. So I'll take the reduced grade to keep him out of having an F when he clears 7th grade, which is in like 2 weeks. So he's 2 weeks to fix all of those missing assignments and bring them up to a D so that he can have a D average and at least not clear 7th grade with an F. And that's what I'm trying to convince them. I'm like, will you please tell me if any of those assignments anyway.
Well, out of curiosity, just throwing this out here, it's a spitball idea. Why don't you just let him fail and make him go to summer school?
Well, because he won't get a better result in summer school?
No, but it will teach him that if he doesn't work hard, he'll have to go to school during the summer, and if he was looking forward to the summer, then he screwed himself over.
Did
He
you
would be teaching himself a lesson.
when you were in school, did you ever hit that nihilism point where you were
I
like,
did, and
screw
I
it,
had to go
there's
to summer
nothing I
school.
can do. There's nothing I can do. I will never be able to do this. So I'm just
Yeah,
going to just sit here.
yeah, and I actually went to summer school. That's why I'm
Well, that's
telling
what
you
I'm
this
saying.
right
You'll
now.
go to summer school. I
No,
went to summer school.
but like, if I wanted my summer back, and I never wanted to experience that again, as an ADHD an AU ADHDer, I wanted not to do that again.
You did better than me, son. I went to summer school and then just gave up.
Yeah, like
I went
I'm
to
not saying I
regular
gave up.
school, summer school, regular school, summer school, and it was the third summer when my mom finally said, "There's something else going on because you're just depressed and you're sad and you just." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can't beat it. There's nothing I can do. I'll never be able to do the things that I'm supposed to do. People keep asking me to do stuff and I keep forgetting it. I don't know why." And so I just go, I trudge to school every day and I trudge home. And they did that. They did the, well, if you really want it, yeah, except that ADD doesn't work like that. It's not like ADD is, oh,
No.
I really want to do this instead of that. ADD is like this weird thing where I want to finish this project so that I don't get an F. And what was that? What was I doing again? Oh, well, it must not have been important, you know. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, what have I done to myself? Again.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
mean,
what happens. And so the problem
Yeah.
I've got is that's what my dad did too. It was the same thing. Was if you think it's important, you'll get your butt in gear. And then I didn't.
well,
And then, like I said, after 3 years of that, my mom was like, "There's something else going on. You wouldn't voluntarily do this."
I mean, I'm not saying this to be mean to your kid. I'm being
I know.
realistic. I've met many people who are ADHD, and I'll be honest. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if he's looking forward to something this summer, and he has to go to summer school, and it has to go away.
So here's the thing. All that seems to do with everybody I've ever met, all that seems to do is just make people get anxiety. It makes everybody anxious little bunny rabbits.
Well, I'm not saying
it's kind of
we
like
can that way.
It's kind of like if every time you and I talk, randomly I just hit you. You'd just like, what the hell? You know what I mean? And that's the way.
I'd probably stop talking to you.
Huh? Yeah, you would. You'd stop
Yeah.
talking to me. That's the way school felt to me.
Yes,
Was-
but what I'm saying is this is your kid, unfortunately, and sometimes you have to repeat the mistakes that you felt your parent made in order to try to see if that will help
Oh, it doesn't.
your kid.
That's part of the problem. And actually, that's why I'm trying to take a different tack. He's lost everything now.
Yeah.
Because that's what we were doing. Well, if you want to do this thing, then you'll do your homework. He didn't. Well, if you want to do this thing, you'll do your homework.
Oh, okay. I know what you're describing.
He's all the way down now to
He has the
only thing he cares
ADHD
about
indifference.
is Switch. And
He
that's
has the Okay, so he has the ADHD indifference to, like, it doesn't really matter. They're going to just continue to take stuff away from me no matter what I do.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's already in that nihilism where he's already where it's like, screw it. I'm never going to beat this. So I might as well just accept my life. I asked him, what do you want to do when you grow up? And he's like, I don't know. I don't care. And I'm like, you really don't care? He's like, no, not really. And I'm like, that's horrible. But it occurred to me that part of the reason is because we did that. That's what we did. We took away things every time he wasn't behaving well. And he never behaved better. So he never got the things back.
Mm.
So now he's just at the bottom of the barrel, and we've only got one lever on him right now, and that's his switch. And that's the only lever we have on him. So
Mm.
I'm going to take a different tack this summer with him. I want him to clear the F's so that he doesn't clear with an F. But I want to get him to the point where I'm thinking we'll take him places this summer and start poking around with things. Do you want to be a paleontologist? Do you want to be an archaeologist? Do you want to be a musician? Do you want to be an astronomer? You know what I mean? Like,
He's
kind of,
14 right now?
yeah, kind of poke around at different things because
Well,
he's got nothing to hang his life on. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted to do either. I remember 13, and I remember being, because he's 13, he'll be 14 next year.
Okay.
But
So,
I
okay.
remember that. And you saw him, he's pre-puberty right now. He hasn't hit puberty yet, which is part of the reason I'm concerned, because once puberty hits, it's really going to be, I don't want to do it. I hate everything, you know?
Well,
So
if he's already doing that and he's not entered, like,
right? It's going to be
my mom told the doctor, like, when I was like 17, that's when like he confirmed I was actually in puberty.
Yeah.
And I can tell you without a freaking doubt that I was like very weird. Like after I went in, and I basically had the same attitude as your son. So, but I also went to a highly competitive school.
Sure.
That also gave me extra subjects every single year that normal public school did not have. I basically could have entered high school with the number of credits from junior high in 7th grade.
Sure.
And
That's
I could have, yeah.
He's not, I mean, he already knows this. He's not in school to learn to add, subtract, multiply, and divide.
Yeah.
He does that. I also know that if he wanted to learn anything social studies, he would go study it in 2 weeks and be a better expert than half the teachers. I know that too. That's the thing about ADD. I know he'll get any of the academics.
Oh no, I hated doing homework.
I know.
That was my biggest problem. That's why I had the grades I had, was I never wanted to do the homework, and I also never wanted to please my parents.
Right. And that's the other thing, is that he doesn't care to do anything for our benefit either.
Right.
So he's totally fine if he just crashes out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, okay, but, you know, it's not us. I keep telling him that. I'm like, it's not us. You're not pleasing me. You are working for 25-year-old you.
Yeah.
That's what you're working for right now. Because if you mess up all of this stuff on the foundations and getting out there into the world, you're going to be 25 with zero ability to work with other people. At which time you'll end up in a cabin out in the mountains somewhere, because it's the only place you can find that won't require you to, pay money, because you won't be able to make money. So, and that's what I'm trying to tell him, is it's like, this isn't us. You're not doing this for us. I mean, as your parent, I want you to have an awesome life, of course. But I don't care what that life is. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're happy, it doesn't matter what that life is. I don't care if you're a doctor or an artist. As long as you've got the ability to do the job so that you can make money, so that you don't live in my basement like a troll until I die.
Yeah, that's...
So...
Yeah, you're a much nicer parent than I am.
Well, I appreciate that. But I mean...
No, I've already told Bill, like, at 18, I want my kids out of the house in their own apartment or something. Like, if they have not been able to...
like it is right now, I'm not letting the kiddo out until he's making 6 figures.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
and Bill...
Like, I hate to say this, but I'm not going to sit there and say, I'm sorry, you're 18, get out. And he's like, but Dad, I work at Taco Bell.
Well,
Sorry, guess you need
working
to
at
take
Taco
16 more
Bell by that
jobs.
working at Taco Bell and for like I mean right now In-N-Out Burger in the Loveland location, they already announced that they're paying up to $20 an hour.
I understand, but even $20 an hour wouldn't be able to afford a $650,000 house.
Yeah, true. It well when you're 18, from my experience, um, I lived with like I want to say I lived with like 6 people at one point
Yep,
in a 2-bedroom apartment
yep, that's what I
at
did.
like 18, 19 years old. I never lived alone until no.
Yep.
Yeah, I've not really lived alone for a very long time. So,
Yep. Anyway,
but
it's
no,
not
I don't
that.
think it's about struggling, Kat. I think what it is I come from a family that basically like the males were never nurtured to be protected, really, to the point of like, oh, you can stay at the house while you're going to college and stuff like that. I was never given that option. Boys in my family were not. Daughters, unfortunately, were allowed to stay as long as they wanted. They could stay in my mom would allow my sisters to probably stay with them so long as they got along until they got married would probably be the cutoff point.
Yeah,
So
I don't think you're making the point you think you're making, Pepper.
no, what I'm just trying to say is I'm not asking or saying I want my children to struggle, but like they're not going to pay bills in my house. Any money that they make will go into a savings account. Like stuff like that. When they leave my house, they should have enough money to basically live for about 6 months is what I'm saying. And whatever
it's interesting though. I mean, like for me, my sister was the one that came back to roost more often than I did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I find fascinating. I left home and never really had to turn around and come back, so I didn't. I did make a copy of that, didn't I? So it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
Depends on how you look at it, I guess.
Yeah. Like, I know that, like, I moved back in with my mom when I was, like, in my mid-20s.
Right.
And all I have to say is it was not a good experience.
Yeah.
So, basically, my mom did her normal mom things. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my thought is this. If the market's still ugly, which it might be, I mean, the kiddo's going to be 18 in 4 years, so it could still be remarkably ugly. And if the kiddo is like that, then he stays here. And yeah, I mean, I've already told him that the rules behind this are pretty straightforward, which is, if you stay here, it's still going to be the same rules that it's always been. That doesn't mean that we have to make it, if you're in my house, it's my rules sort of drama, but it will still be a thing, right? And that's fine. If he needs to. If it becomes clear that he's just cruising along and not getting any headway on getting a better job or trying to do anything, and he's letting ADD get the better of him, then we're going to have to talk about maybe doing the dramatic thing of kicking him out for his own good. But that would have to be for his own good thing. And that's what I'm actually talking about in general here. there are techniques that we can use to defeat ADD. We don't have to be victims of our own ADD, but you have to do the things. You know what I mean? Like, you can't not do the things. So that's one of the things that I've been saying. He's not in trouble because he got an F. He's in trouble because he didn't plan well. He didn't use the tools to keep him on task. That's what he's in trouble for. So I've been extraordinarily clear with him on this one. He's not busted because he got Fs, because he can have an F. There are times where you just get in a class and that's not the class that you should have ever been in. You know what I mean? Like, you put me in, let's say, a calculus class, and there will be an F. It will happen. But not for lack of trying. I will have tried really hard. But math and I have never been good. We've never been friends. If we're lucky, I'll make it out of Algebra 1 with a C. You know what I mean? And then we call it good. And then people nod and pat me on the head and say, you did good enough, you know, and all's good. So I know that things like that will happen. He's not busted for the F. He's busted because we've been telling him, hey, that grade is at a 1.21. A 1.19 is an F. And you are hovering at 2 or at 0.2 or 0.2%, you know, above an F. And you're hovering there. Do something about it. And he still didn't turn in assignments in that class. That's what he's busted for. He should have prioritized his assignments over playing games and watching YouTube videos. And he didn't. And he let ADD whisper in his little ear, it's okay, you'll do it in 5 minutes. Which is why I say ADD lies. It lies.
Well, yeah, it's the time dilation problem with ADHD.
Right? It's worse than Einstein's space.
Yeah.
Our time dilation issues are worse than Einstein's space.
It's like, I actually have specifically told people, like, please don't give me a time limit of 5 minutes, because 5 minutes for me is not your 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I'll set a timer for you. And the timer will go off and I'll be like, oh, I haven't even started.
Right.
So, but realistically, like, Bill has even told me, like, you know, when we have kids, when we finally get an adoption, stuff like that sticks, he's even told me, like, if our kid is in college or going to school, they can stay here as long as they want. And I'm like, well, are they going to be paying bills or anything? And he's like, probably not. And I'm like, okay. So are they, like, I'm in the thing of, I grew up in an environment where I was taught that I needed to leave, like, really quickly.
I get that.
So,
you don't need to pass that on, though.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, you shouldn't really do that. That sounds kind of bad.
I'm not saying should or shouldn't. That's your decision as a parent to do what you want to do and what you think is best. What I'm saying is, don't feel the need to pass that on. That doesn't have to be passed on. You can make a decision otherwise if you want.
Yeah.
If you feel like it's the right choice, then do it. I mean, obviously, you're the parent. You do what needs to be done, and what you feel is right. But every time you keep bringing it up, you're coming up with, my house was like this and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, don't feel required to do it because you grew up that way. Your parents may not have done
the main difference with the way that I was brought up and the way that I think that me and Bill have agreed is, I'm not going to be doing bills in the sense of, like, they have to pay bills every month while they're living with us. So
Okay.
they'll be able to save money, which I never had that opportunity.
Okay.
Um, I had to learn money management basically on my own. I never had someone teach me
Sure.
stuff like that. Uh, and I'll be realistic. Brent's daughter, when I was 17, I kind of wanted to do that as well. Live out of a van and just drive around and go places.
Sure.
So then I got into a car accident and never wanted to get behind the wheel.
Never again.
I drive, but no.
There.
So cool.
And we can do both of these now.
Cool. So
I like I was observing last night that it's only here in the US where we're like weird, like Sunday night through Friday day. Everywhere else in the world, we're Monday morning to Friday night, like a normal person, because of the time shift.
uh-huh.
I mean, we're still in weird hours, like our Friday night or our nighttime, which would be our daytime show right now, is the middle of the night in Japan. So, you know, like we're running in the middle of the night. So, which last night was really, it was sad but adorable. Alfie was like, I'll stay up and be on your other show. I'm like, Alfie, go to bed. We love you. Go to bed. Oh,
Yeah.
sad. Actually, it looks like it's 11 p.m. at night. No, it's not. It's midnight to 2 a.m. Japan time. Let me bring that back up. So yeah, all I'm saying is you do what you need to do, whatever that is. You're the parent.
Yeah.
Don't let doofuses like me tell you what to do, you know. But
all I know is I just don't want to mess my kid up like my parents messed me up.
Right.
But I think my expectations, the difference between my parents and me is I will be probably laying out expectations as they grow up and explaining what I'm expecting of them as they grow up, which
Right.
my parents never did. So I think there's that. But also, the kid could get here and I could throw everything out the window and could do something completely different.
Well, I was also going to say that.
Yeah.
The one thing I have learned is whatever you think you're going to do is not what you're going to do. And I'll give you two good warnings. Your partner may not actually do what they plan to do.
Oh, no, trust me. I've already seen that happen.
Yeah, that's the problem I have.
I've already seen that happen.
Yeah, because I had to, we needed to really crack down on the kiddo when he was little. And she didn't want to do it. And so she didn't. And so I was the only one really pushing any discipline.
Yeah.
And, that became an issue. That became a real issue. Now, are we in the right place for this?
Yeah.
5:43.
Well,
6 p.m. Okay, good.
Yeah,
That's the only one that's a mistake.
Well, I'm not. For me, my expectations are reasonable. Just explaining certain things, like at milestones, like when they start school, this is what I'm going to start expecting of them. And it's just to explain, this is what I'm expecting. I'm still expecting you to be a kid, though. But I need you to keep these in mind. That's basically what I'm trying to do.
Right.
To live by, because realistically, I've done so many classes about trauma and childhood issues that the main theme in all of them that I keep seeing is parents failing to communicate to their children properly. Does that make sense?
To some degree, but even with that, I think that you can still incur a lot of damage even when you are trying to communicate. My
Yeah.
parents were really good at communication and didn't understand ADD. And that's really the problem is the pain that I suffer through, that I'm literally going through with my therapist, is my dad saying, "You are so smart. Why can't you do this?" Which was
Right.
devastating to me. It was devastating. And I never told him that, during his entire life that was the deal, that he hurt me so badly by doing that, because he would have been devastated. He tried so hard. He tried so hard. But
Mhm.
all it did was tell me that I had something broken that there is absolutely no way I can fix. It is impossible. I'm a hopeless cause. I'm lost. Because I agreed. I should be able to do my homework. And then I
Mhm.
watched TV. And then it was, well, why did you watch TV if you were supposed to do your homework? I don't know. I just did. And now, understanding how ADD works, I'm like, that's because I really should have laid down a rule, because that's the whole thing. Put rules in effect and follow them religiously. And then all you need to do is one thing, and that is whatever that rule is. And that makes sure that you keep on task. I didn't know that. I didn't know we needed that.
Mhm.
And so what I ended up doing was, it's okay. I'll get up after the end of this show and do the dishes and do my laundry and yada yada yada. And I had no idea that I was trashing myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
And
think.
and
Yeah.
Dad devastated me by that. And he didn't mean to. He really didn't. But he did. And
Yeah. I mean, and I agree with Kat. Like, my parents said some pretty awful things too. They didn't. My parents kind of were like at the. They said it, but they said it in a way which sounded okay to say. They're really good at that backhanded thing
yeah.
for a good portion of it. My father more than my mom. Um, but
All I was really trying to say was that you can cause trauma with a child.
oh no,
Even,
I
even
know my
with
kid's gonna. I know any
somebody
kid.
had made
Yeah,
some quip somewhere along the line that I absolutely thought was hysterical, but it's true, and that is, it doesn't matter what you do, your kids are going to be in therapy because of you. And I was like, oh god. you know I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter what you do, your kids are going to end up in therapy because of you, and there's nothing you can do about that. And to some degree, that's okay. Like, for example, I never believed for a moment that either my mom or my dad didn't have my best interests at heart. And I think that's
yeah.
really the only thing that you need to be able to do. No matter what you do, you will scar your child. The biggest and most
Yeah.
important thing is that they should
You just
always,
don't want to do it like the way your parents did it.
yeah, but just make sure that they get out the door knowing that you did your best for them, for their best interests.
Yeah,
I think that's the most important thing, is like,
yeah,
because I'm going to make mistakes. I've already made mistakes. There are there are things that I have done that cause my child to interact with me very lightly. He doesn't interact with me as much as he interacts with mom, and that's partially because she collapsed every time he asked for something, and I was the hardliner. So the price I
yeah,
pay for that is he doesn't ask me for anything anymore,
yeah.
you know? And that was the
So
price I paid. I mean, even little things. He doesn't ask me for help in his homework. He doesn't ask me for anything because he knows that I'm going to say no, because I had to say no all the time to him when he was a kid because she wasn't saying no.
yeah.
And even she said,
Well,
how am I a
it's
Montessori teacher and I still will do everything for him? Like, she was frustrated with herself on that one.
well, it's like I had one parent who always said yes, and I had one parent that always said no for a lot of things.
Kat, you're making me cry in all your posts, dude. I'm just saying. Like, all of
But
those hurt. Oh, they're so bad. I feel for you, man.
I mean, and I share some of what Kat's saying too, as far as like growing up and stuff like that with my mom. I'm blamed with. I have a blame list that does involve college paying and stuff like that. So I mean, I get it. I get what she's saying very, very much. So, but also at the same time, like,
You don't need
my
to stop,
opinion
Kat.
is,
Don't worry about it. You're fine. I'm actually just sitting there going, man, you're hurting me. In a I'm trying to pick word. I just
Yeah.
blew out the ear.
Yeah. But what I'm describing right now, like, and what started it was essentially need something to jolt your kid. He's not listening to you. He's gonna see He's gonna see his mom not in the same way. Something needs to shock him in order for him to kind of do it himself, which is what a lot of ADHDers need sometimes.
Really?
And it sucks.
And
Because you
though
have
I
to let your
agree
kid
with you,
fall.
though I agree with you, putting him in summer school would just mean it'd be the next ring down in his pit. He'd just go to summer school, and then he'd go to regular school, and then he'd go to summer school, and then he'd go to regular school, and then he'd
And
just be
then
sitting in
you
his
just
bed
offer
sleeping
him
all
at
the time.
16 to take the GED test.
Right, and then he'll GED out, and then he, like I said, he's not in school to learn math and science. He's in school to learn how to jump through hoops.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing he doesn't do well.
Yeah.
And that's what he needs to do. He needs to learn to do the jobs that he hates and everything like that. But first, let me address Kat real quick. Kat, I may have chosen my words wrong. I don't want to not hear it. It's fine. I'm just trying to give you words of sympathy. That's all. And since it's a social thing, and you know how good we all are at social things, I'm probably choosing the wrong words. You may speak all you need to. I listen to those things and use that information to be a better dad. So you're not hurting me in any way. I'm just trying to express that's seriously horrible cat sort of thing. You know, like, I'm on your side. I'm sad for you, without words that make no sense. So that's all.
Yeah, I'm not, Kat. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know what you're saying because I've kind of lived something similar. So continue to say it. Like, I don't want you to stop. It's fine.
We're talking about our kids and screwing up their lives. You're not bringing the mood down. I mean, man, this is
mine right now are prospective children, so it's, take it as what you will.
Yeah, but you want to have kids, and that's important.
Yeah.
I figure there are two. When it comes to kids, you've got people who want kids, and you've got people who don't want kids. I think people who don't want kids shouldn't have kids.
Well,
you'll be a bad parent.
Yeah, I mean, I have, there are people whom I have recently had to deal with who stated that they didn't want to be parents, and we had to wait for their decision, and then they decided to parent. So,
yeah, it's all good, man. I mean, that's me. I feel like if you don't want to be a parent, don't be a parent. It's hard. This is hard work. And I mean, like, what we're talking about today, I'm responsible for another human being's well-being. Like, that kid is going to someday be talking about me to a therapist. It's going to happen. You know, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how good I do. It I am generating right now a thing inside that kid that he's already mad about. You know what I mean? Like, I've already started the all my dad ever did was lecture me. He'd sit me down and talk for 2 hours about something. You know, I already know that that's a thing. That's there. It's already there.
Oh, trust me.
So that's one of the reasons why I like talking about this with you guys, because the shorter and the more concise I can get when I talk to him, the better we are. Because if I'm rambly, like you all know I am, that's what he's going to be griping about, because he's already been yelled at for walking away while I was talking to him. So now what he does is he sits down and he stares and then thinks about something completely different and never listens to what I'm saying. So it's now lost. Everything's lost. So
Yeah.
that's not helping. So, like I said, that's why I'm like, I know this isn't like the awesomest discussion we've ever had, but it is, on the other hand, very useful. It's useful to me. It's useful to you. And so don't worry about it, Cap. You're doing fine. You're not bringing the whole thing down.
Yeah.
You're an intelligent person. And
if anyone wants to bring it down, I can definitely bring down the conversation with some of the stuff I went
have
through.
to do that.
I don't want to do that.
Then don't. But Kat, you're an intelligent person, and I like hearing what you have to say. It's a very important thing.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I just wanted you to know you're not ruining anything or bringing anything down or anything like that. You're fine. You're just fine.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. No, I just, there are people who have already voiced their opinions about what I hope I can do with my kids, to the point it's nauseating, because they take their own perspective and think that that's what's going to happen when I have a kid. And I have a lot of people who've already unintentionally done well-intended stuff,
Right.
saying to me that basically is like, yeah, no, that's not happening. So yeah, that's what I want to avoid. But what you've been saying, Kat, I do not classify as unwanted advice. So we're talking about this. I'm expecting it. And I am considering what you're saying. So there's a big difference.
Yeah.
But like, one of the things that irritates me about this whole process that me and Bill have been doing is people expecting how me and Bill will be as parents based off of the fact that we're a same-sex couple, and what they think stereotypically what it will look like versus what it actually looks like.
I think people romanticize their childhood.
Well,
and I say that because I think people start doing this, this is the way it's going to be. And you guys won't fit this because it's supposed to be X. The truth of the matter is, every child I have ever met is unique and different and difficult to raise because of things that you would have never expected. I have a child who is almost exactly like me, and I knew coming into this that I had a child that was almost like me, and still am making ridiculous mistakes. See you later, cat. Love ya. Ah. So, um, but I mean, people who sit there and say, "Oh, but a kid needs his father. Oh, but a kid needs a mother." These people romanticize their world. The truth of the matter is, in the real nitty gritty, you two are going to be exactly the same kinds of parents that Mariah and I are. It won't matter. It won't matter at all. What you need is you need one parent who does the nurturing thing and one parent who's the disciplinarian. And
Well,
sometimes
yeah. I mean,
one parent
I
that's both of those.
so I am so for the adoption agency. Just to clarify some things for people, when you're doing the adoption agency like write up, whether you're a straight couple, gay couple, whatever type of couple you are,
Uh-huh.
you have to list caregiving parent and breadwinning parent.
Uh-huh.
I am listed as caregiver.
Right, me too.
Okay?
That's the
That
function I do
means
in this house.
I sacrifice my career, I sacrifice other things in my life in order to stay home, make sure that my kid is okay.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
With the way that everything is set up, I have to be the one that's the disciplinarian. I'm the one that has to tell them the boundaries. I'm the one that has to do all of this stuff. But the difference between, I think, most families and ours is both of us work from home.
Yeah, that just means, don't go bother dad, bother me.
Right.
Is what it's
And
going to be, which is the same thing I keep trying to convince. But even with that,
yeah.
you end up with screw ups, like
Oh yeah.
because my wife is the one that kind of caves. He goes to her all the time. She comes home exhausted from work, and he's pestering her from the moment she walks in the door until the moment where she explodes and yells at him, which is a pattern that repeats every day. Like the child will not learn. And he could ask,
Well, he knows
I've
that
been here with him since 3 o'clock, right? When he walks in the door, and he still didn't talk to me at all. Do you need anything? No. You want anything? No. You good?
But he knows that that's on how he gets his way.
Right, exactly. And so all I'm saying is I get it, but just be prepared, because no plan survives first contact with the enemy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Will I have moments where I can say yes, like let's go ahead and do this? Oh hell yeah, I'm knowing that. Me and Bill originally we were talking about having our kid homeschool for a very long time.
Right.
But also at the same time, like we've been looking at other ways of schooling and stuff like that too.
I think you should look into school much the same way we did, which is you're going to school to learn how to deal with people. Because you can't just grow up and get out there only interacting with me and your mom and 4 kids that are in our friend group. That's not a viable option. So,
but I also have to
recommend
remind
that.
myself what I was like as a kid. And when I left school, I was always sensory overloaded all day long. And by the time I got home, the reason why I never wanted to do anything was I need a sensory break. I needed an actual legitimate break.
Yeah.
And I never got that as a child.
Right. Because you lived in a household full of people.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing.
And I was told to go outside, Brent. I was kicked outside a lot.
But that's the thing. When people talk about growing up and what they're doing with their kids and all of these things, Wait, what was I thinking? I have jumped tracks. Let me jump back because I got sidetracked by the whole thing going outside. Um, Teachers and schools. A lot of people are doing I want my kid to be homeschooled because I don't trust the school system. And I keep retorting that by saying, put them in the school system anyway, because you can always correct their science, but you cannot correct if they've got a personality conflict that makes them inaccessible to 99% of the population because you only had them dealing with 5 people, right? Because there's
Right.
nothing you can do about the fact that you sensory overload and shut down. But if we've been working all of your childhood on slowly acclimating you so that you have a high buffer or whatever, I'm using it as an example. I'm not saying it was, but work on your buffer so that you're good. You can hold it together for 8 hours without it being a super taxing thing.
Yeah.
And that's a much more useful skill than whether you can add 2 and 2 or whether you know what happened during the French Revolution. The truth of the matter is, in reality, it's much more important to be able to interact with thousands of people. That's the much more useful skill. You can always look up things on Wikipedia. If you need to know what happened in the French Revolution, just look it up on Wikipedia. But that's the thing. That's why I keep saying to my kid, all he needs to do is not make Fs and learn to deal with all those people and not do what he did 2 weeks ago, where he was playing a game in a class and the game was impossible. And so he rage quit the game. The teacher told him to calm down and he rage quit at her.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable behavior. He came home and was genuinely puzzled as to why his teacher wrote me a letter about that.
Yeah.
Because in his mind's eye, it was her fault for shutting the game down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, you never play games in school. I don't know why I don't know why this is a hard thing to tell you.
Yeah.
But you never know what you're going to hit with a child. You never know what problem is going to show up or what error is going to show up. And I never thought I would ever have to sit there and say, look, you're not allowed to play games at school. You know that, right? Yeah? So why are you doing it? Because it's on my computer. What? Look, how is this logical? So, with me, I think that's the big thing. I don't mind homeschooling. I don't mind Catholic schools. I don't mind any of that. That's not my concern. My concern is people are deciding that the public school system sucks because they only got Algebra 1. And so they're not putting their kids into the public school system where they gain their natural immunity by catching every single cold that has ever existed. And
I'm sorry. I disbelieve that whole belief that public school spreads disease. I'm sorry, that's not the case. Any schooling system outside of homeschooling, your kid will get a freaking sickness. Okay? Just deal with it.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, you'll get every disease known to man. It's homeschooling that I'm really talking about. Because in homeschooling, you're only getting the diseases that you get from your parents. That's it.
Right. But the thing is what you're not
enough to get some. I mean,
what you're not talking about with homeschooling, which is a little bit what me and Bill, when we were looking into it, Colorado is actually one of the biggest homeschool states in the United States. There's also a thing called homeschool groups where your kids meet other homeschool kids and you go on trips together and you socialize them that way and stuff like that. There's ways to get them with kids and they can still get flus, colds, whatever from the other kids.
You're hyper focusing on literally a very small piece of what I was saying.
Well, yes, but I'm also stating it because this is the reality of what me and Bill had talked about, which you weren't bringing up.
So, all I was
So
really
that's
saying,
why.
well, I've said it. I'm running over because we tend to get more viewers this time, and sometimes I get cold and things like that.
Yeah.
But the whole point I was trying to say was, hey, you get all the diseases that you would
Oh,
normally
speaking
have.
of Colton, I think he's in the queue.
Do what?
I just heard a boo boo.
No, there's nobody over there.
Yeah.
So that was one, but you derailed me first. I'm like, don't derail me. But the other thing is that you really learn to adjust to dealing with people. I think that's the biggest thing. Dealing with large crowds of people, dealing with people who are annoying, dealing with, because that's a reality of life, and you'll never be able to save people from it. It's never going to. You can't just tell your kid it's all right. We're not gonna. It's not a thing you need to worry about. It always is something. You need to learn how to deal with people. You need to learn how to. And I mean, because really, honestly, the biggest thing I think that's hitting our society right now is entitlement. People who do not understand enough of the world to realize that they are one of the pieces in a machine called society. And if they don't understand that, then it becomes one of those, I was told that I was going to get stuff and I didn't get stuff. And they didn't quite grasp the piece that they need to understand that each and every one of us must work for society in order for society to give us things, right? I mean, even if it's just the basic talking about, just taxes or whatever, we all need to do our part for society. But even here in Quack, like all of us in Quack, we're all doing our bit for the Quack Society. I am right now making title cards that say, hey, go buy our stuff,
Yeah.
because that's part of what we need to do. I'm doing it for you and for everybody else in this group. And I don't want thanks or anything like that. I don't need it. Because I have learned that that's part of what we do as a society.
Yeah.
Brent has built all of our websites out of the kindness
Yeah.
of his own heart. He's hosting.
Yeah.
And he just did it because he's part of our society. He's part of our group.
Yeah.
And you need to learn how to work with other people. You need to learn how to get into a group. And I think the biggest problem is, as the world is going on, one of the problems we are running into as a society is people are harping so much on we all are independent little snowflakes that people don't learn how to work together as a team. And then they get into high school and they're like, I was told I was going to marry a cheerleader and get a Ferrari, and I have neither of those things. And then they get mad and they blame somebody else. They start blaming schools, they blame their parents, they blame whatever, because they were supposed to have a cheerleader and a Lamborghini by now. That was what they were told. And these people are snapping, and some of them are getting violent. That's the real problem in our society. We've spent so much time being individuals, and we should be individuals. We need to learn to balance individuality with our duty to our societies, whatever societies those are.
And we thank you for that, Brent, by the way.
Yep. Yeah, well, but that's the thing. You are Brent. I mean, Brent has always been part of Quack.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even though we make jokes about, oh yeah, Brent just does 3D stuff. He does do a lot of stuff in here. And he comes in every so often and joins the video feed and things like that.
Yeah.
He's part of the community. And so that's exactly what he was saying right there, is he wanted to give back to this community. It's the same reason why I'm doing all of these things. Where do you find our comics? What are our hours? Things like that. These are commonly asked questions.
Yeah.
Can you see the overlay on the right side over there, by the way, Pepper?
In the grid?
Over to the right of our screen. So, like, we've got the screen where it's got you and me, and then to the right of that is the duck pond. And then to the right of that is a series of options. And I don't know whether you can see all of the overlays.
All I know is I see a box that says private chat, and then I see who's on the stream.
Okay, so you don't actually have this entire box is gone over here. Okay.
Well, no, I have a box that comes up.
Yeah. Well, no, the private chat for me is at the bottom. Who's on is on the left side. And then on the right side, I have a box which has the chat room. And then
I have the chat room. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see? Is there are captions and then there's graphics? Do you see those? Yeah, I'll go. Okay.
I see all the graphics and stuff like that, but I don't think I see. I don't think I have, because I'm not an admin, so right. I don't think
that's what I was trying to
figure
range. Out was, if we put this up here, and if I put this up here, I can control that, but you can't. Only Can and I can.
Yeah.
I've thought about making you an admin, and I'm not sure whether you're ready to do that or not. I don't know. So when you feel like you might want to be an admin, give me a holler.
What do you mean? I don't even know what that means to be an admin.
That means you can start shows, end shows, and control the show.
That would be a dangerous thing for me to do.
That's okay. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But
no, I would be too tempted to just end the show like midstream if no one was like doing anything.
That would be really obnoxious.
Yeah, he does not see what we see.
I don't. I mean, I have some capabilities. I do see, like, basically, I have the duck pond, and then I have like another feed that's on the other side.
Yeah,
but I don't have any controls or anything like that. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're seeing because I used to be on that side.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't have that.
Yeah, I don't have
that.
I'm the one that started with Restream, so I have no idea what it looks like without admin controls. So, like, I've never seen it without admin controls. So
yeah, that's fine.
That's why I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much the screen, and then you have the little private chat messenger on the side, and that's it.
That's fair.
And then a little bit at the top where you could add, when you're coming in, you could add your own stream to it.
Yeah, that I have. And then there's nothing on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Except for like a thing with all the talking.
That's totally cool. That's all I needed to know. I'm making a whole bunch of these little cards so that we can do
things. The thing with the ADHD and school is there's also one more element that will start to come in, and that's the element I hit. And that is, you also have to watch for where he's at, your son's at, compared to what they're teaching.
Yeah.
Because if he's too smart, the classroom is just boring. And it becomes mind-numbing in that way. And that's the problem I had in school.
But you still need to learn to deal with it. Because I have been in board meetings that were absolutely mind-numbingly boring too.
Oh yeah, you have to learn to deal with it. But the problem is no one will teach you in school how to deal with it.
Exactly. And I absolutely agree with you.
So that's something that those are tricks you're going to have to teach him, because school will not teach him how to deal with it. And he emotionally won't know how to deal with it. And that's what I ran into, was no one sat down really to try to teach me how to deal with that. mind-numbingness.
I
And it
agree.
took me so long, and it's one of the things that I wish I learned how to do earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in school, I'll be realistic with you. The reason why I didn't do the homework is I didn't think that there was a need to.
Yeah, same.
Like I could show up on the day of the test and get an A.
Yeah.
Like, I just from reading and listening to the lectures.
Yep. And
I
so
mean,
I don't have a. That's actually something that I have been telling him very straight up. Is, hey, dude, you can't. You have to learn how to deal with other people. You have to learn how to deal with the boredom. You have to learn how. You can't. And I've been like, here's how I deal with it. Here's how other people deal with it. And you can choose your own path, but you have to choose one of them. Either you do it the way I do it, or you do it the way other people do it, or you do it your own way. But whatever's the deal, the answer cannot be, I didn't listen at all in class. So that can't happen. That's not acceptable. And so we've got to find a way for it to work.
I think what did it for me as a kid, like as a teenager, and I'm just spitballing. I don't know if this would work for your kid, but this is something that kind of helped when I got a job at like 15 years old. I was working, and the moment that started, I realized, okay, well, maybe school is what this is like preparing me for, whatever. But when I was in a work environment, I had people in management, and I had different management styles go through the place I worked really quickly. And I had noticed right away that the boredom that I felt in school translated into the boredom of some of these people I had to deal with.
Yep.
And the thing is when you're in a work environment, you kind of are stuck. This isn't a learning environment. This is where you're being paid to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's a big difference from being in school and being in a work environment, but the schooling still prepares you to a certain degree for that work environment. And for me, it kind of worked out where I realized, okay, well, maybe if I pay attention why I'm bored here, maybe I can improve both areas. And it did slowly improve over time. But like, again, I had to make that decision.
Yeah.
Not my parents, not anyone else, but I had to.
Yeah. That's literally what I said yesterday. I'm like, we can't we can keep punishing you, but that's not you living your life. That's us living your life for you.
Yeah.
Which you had said a while back. You had learned that in one of your classes, and I thought that was very interesting. And I've kind of absorbed it and taken it on. But it's still the same thing, when I say it to him, like, I can keep punishing you if that's going to make this work, but the truth of the matter is that won't teach you anything useful on your side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, even the childhood trauma classes that I've participated in, the point person, the leader of the class, has literally said out loud, sometimes you cannot prevent your child going through this. You have to let it go.
Just have to let them do it.
Yeah, because they're not going to listen to you always, and sometimes they cause their own trauma.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. It's the same thing I was just saying, which is there's nothing you can do. Your kid's going to be in therapy because of you.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing you can do.
Yeah. So
And it's true. I mean, there just isn't anything we can do. So, oh man. So it's like, it's one of those things. But that's what I've been telling him is, and that's what was the big kind of thing that really kind of freaked out both of us last night, my wife and I, was I'm like, hey, I'm only in control of your life because you're not taking control of your own life. You can do it at any time. You can have control of your own life. All you need to do is just do the social parts that connect you to the rest of this culture. And then you can do whatever the heck you want. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody, sort of thing. And he was like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, do you like having me having control of your life? He's like, no. And I'm like, okay, then why don't you take control? He's like, because I don't care. And that was where it was like, uh-oh, he doesn't care. It's easier for me to run his life for him. So he doesn't change it. And that's the issue.
Well, and that's the problem that I had as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught at a very early age that I did not have control over my life.
Right.
And I could not have control over my life.
Right. But that's why I've been saying it's important that that looks a lot better. So it's important. Wrong frame, Deacon.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
What about being vegan?
Yes, it's back.
Sorry, something really weird happened, and all I heard was untamed vegan.
No, it was wrong frame. I'm trying to come up with a name for him so I can save him in the right place. There. Perfect.
Oh, what was that?
It was the wrong
You're on the wrong frame.
Okay.
Because that happens all the frickin' time now that I've been doing my comics with all the frame cutting and using the correct tool in Clip Studio Paint.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm cleaning up there's been a lot of, we just threw it together real quick one night and it's not clean, and I wanted to clean them all up so that we've got all of our normal, like the layer check dude is not lined up.
Well, that and the fact that that meme that you were posting for a very long time, that's like a meme that it's been overplayed a lot online.
What, the wrong frame or the wrong layer?
Well, that one has been used so often that like a lot of people tend to ignore it now.
Oh yeah, it's only there for fun for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not intended to be.
It's the whipping switch for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we should be able to change it up every once in a while so we don't have just one. True?
I mean, sure. I'm just fixing it so that it's not as messy.
Changing the subject slightly.
Uh-huh.
So in Flight of the Navigator, the events of David falling into a ravine and waking up at 8 years in the future is profoundly weird for me as the area of South Florida that he is supposedly in not only does not have any type of ravines, it is difficult to even have a ravine in Florida. I feel like that's a major plot point that no one really looks at.
Okay.
Do not look directly at the plot hole.
Right?
I know. It's like South Florida. There's no ravines. There's canals that have dried up.
Uh, so there's a feedback loop problem with folks, and people who I'm glad you're finding this funny, Raph.
Where's Raph?
He's texting me
Why is he not on the show?
because he's not texting you. He's texting me. He wants to know what the status is for Iacon because I'm working on pieces for Iacon. And one of the pieces I was working on was getting tables and chairs. And then this morning, Christina said, "Don't worry about that. I've got it covered." And then Raph just texted me and said, "What's your status on tables and chairs?" And then I just sent him back a screenshot of his own wife saying we got that covered. And then he just wrote back and said, "Ha! She just told me the same thing." I'm like,
And this is why I brought up parents communicating with each other.
yep. I'm like, you need to fix this, dude. I mean, well, the biggest problem that I've got is he needs to have faith that we've got this all under control, and neither one of them do. So they put it in somebody else's hands and then wait 30 seconds and then fix it. And now they're just, fixing everything and they're going crazy. And all the rest of us that said, "We'll help you," are sitting here going, "Well, don't have any more work to do because they already fixed it." And what's going to end up happening is they're going to burn out. And then they're going to be like, "I don't like this. This isn't any fun anymore." And we'll be like, "Yeah, that's pretty much what happens when you burn out, And I'm worried about both of them burning out. And they're not delegating very well. Delegating means you need to let it go.
Boy, this doesn't sound familiar at all.
Yeah,
Sounds like normal artists to me.
it does.
Boy, this doesn't sound familiar at all.
Right? And that's the biggest
I'll be right
problem,
back.
is that people are worried that they won't get it done. And the problem is you either do it and understand it and let it be that somebody else's fault when they fall on their face, or you do everything yourself. It's just brutal. And I mean, it's hard because as the person in charge, I get it. They're in trouble if somebody screws up. I get that. But still, it's like, it doesn't matter. So I'm just I'm frustrated because I spent a lot of time researching tables and chairs. And then they were like, we fixed it. And I'm like, okay, but you just wasted a lot of my time. And now I'm looking for a whole lot of volunteers, and that's actually hard to do. And every time I talk to them, they're like, oh, I found 5 more volunteers for you. And I'm like, okay, but did you find just people who are going to like not go anywhere or what? I mean, like, I don't know. It really bothers me. I'm a little worried.
What did I walk back into?
I'm just still worried.
About Raph and Christina?
Huh?
About what are we
Yeah,
talking about?
I'm just worried about Raph and Christina. That's all.
Okay.
I'm worried they're working too hard. I'm worried they are not delegating because it's taking too long. They don't know what's happening. And you need to get to the and it's a hard thing to learn. To let something go. And I get that.
Well,
It's a hard lesson to learn. And, you know, what if they do it wrong? Well, then they do it wrong.
well, whoever you're relying on, if they do it wrong, just have a backup plan.
Yeah, get mad at them, tell them to fix it right now, and not make it your problem. Right? I mean, that's the way this works.
Well, it was kind of like when I did a group meetup and we were talking and discussing neurodivergent burnout. Um, one of the things I said out loud was, don't be afraid to get someone to take over a task for you.
Mm-hmm.
And even the leader of the group, who's a trained psychologist and a neurodivergent person, literally said that actually helps prevent more burnout later on.
Yep, but it's hard for people to say that. And especially people like, you know, our buddies. You know them well. Our
Yeah.
buddies are wonderful people, and they don't uh, they don't they you know these are really high pressure people, you know. That's why I worry about them. They don't like to they don't like to be wrong is the biggest thing, and that's I totally get it.
Well, it's one thing about not being wrong, it's another to be stubborn.
Yeah.
Big difference between the two.
Well, no, it's a fear of being held responsible for something,
Yeah.
which is fine. Because I mean, like, think about the people we're talking about. You trust them with like your mortgage. These people are so freaking responsible, right? You
Uh-huh.
absolutely trust them to the end of the freaking earth because they're so responsible.
Yeah.
And they want to hold that. They like having that. I don't blame them. That's a great trait. And they're afraid to lose it. And they're afraid that if the show goes bad, everybody's going to look at them and go, well, you suck at doing the show. And it's like, I feel that. I do. But the reality is, you know, that's not necessarily you don't want to spend your life doing that. You'll just burn yourself out. And that's the real problem. All right, I gave us another layer one now. We have this one to choose from. So this is our new layer check as well. Just for you, Pepper.
I hate you.
We still have this one though. It's over here called El Dorado.
Yeah.
I like that one, but I get it. I also am gonna fix this guy. Oh, the kiddo lucks out.
Huh?
The kiddo lucked out. I just got a message from the kiddo's teacher saying the book report will be due tomorrow because of the volleyball game this afternoon. I love school. Like, school never changes. You get the weirdest crap. You're like, what? You did what?
Book report due?
I'm sorry?
There was a book report due?
Yeah. And it's on. He had to read Fahrenheit 451 and 1984, which were the two he chose. Yeah, because it's on dystopia. The topic was dystopia, and he could pick any dystopian novels. And he didn't care, really. So his mom and I recommended he read Fahrenheit 451 and 1984. We gave him like Brave New World and a couple of others too, which would be definite dystopian novels. And he chose that one. And that's fine. But yeah, and he has to do a report on it. And then, of course, last night came around and I got an email from his teacher saying, that's due at 3 tomorrow. And I was like, well, guess what you're doing tonight? And he was like, I guess I'm doing that. I'm like, you, that's what you're doing. So that's
Well,
right.
at least he had a choice of his dystopian novels.
Yeah. Well, sort of. I mean, the problem is when you have two English teachers as parents, you're going to end up with things like 1984 and Brave New World and Fahrenheit 451. You know, that's what we picked because they're classics. And he was like shocked. He's like, I didn't actually think that 1984 would end that way. And I'm like, right?
Yeah.
Because he's used to stories where everybody is happy in the end. Not, I love Big Brother. No, really, I do. You know, he wasn't ready for that one.
Like, I remember my first dystopian novel was The Giver.
Spoilers, by the way, for 1984 for those of you who have never read. Sorry. Yeah.
The Giver was one of my first dystopian stories I had to read.
Sure. Yeah. And it's like, wow.
That one's like even more messed up. The government tells you what you're allowed to do as a citizen, job wise. You have no choice.
These are all like born from fears that writers have.
Yeah.
It's because they can't envision a world where you just fall into the career that you're supposed to do and then happily do it for the rest of your life. Because they're like, well, then who will pick the strawberries? And I'm like, some dude will pick strawberries because he's an inventor and wants to make a machine to pick strawberries. So he'll pick the strawberries until he can get his machine running, and then he'll gleefully run the little robot machine down there picking strawberries. That's the problem, is people don't realize that we'll do the jobs until somebody can come up with a better way to do the jobs, and then you'll have somebody who's running the machine that's picking the strawberries. Anyway.
Yeah.
I was going to say I need more tea. So I'm going, because I'm empty. So I'm going to be back in a minute or two.
Okay.
Yes, what's up? Wait, I can't hear you. One moment. What's up? Alright. Give me a few minutes and I'll be back.
Last page is a giant splash page. Okay. That is done. Alright.
All right, I'm back. And I'm going to start. Oh, hey, sun's starting to kind of come out. It's kind of, I don't know, gloomy.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
And the sun will come out tomorrow. All right. Oh, Pepper. I'm still on quarantine through tomorrow, so I'm going to broadcast tonight. Doesn't mean you have to join us, but just so you're cognizant and aware, because then you can make a decision whether you want to join us or not. But if you don't know,
I don't always join the night shows, so
it wasn't what I was saying. I was just saying I'm giving you your agency to choose if you wish. Yes, sir. choose or not.
Okay, I'll be back, guys.
I
Being left.
do what?
Being left.
Oh yeah, he like bombed completely out. Just leaving you and me
Yes.
all alone.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Cry?
But one thing I did want to add, because I kind of felt like I was attacking you there for a bit, Guy.
Oh, no, I didn't feel that way, but okay.
I can honestly say that, like, for me, I wasn't really given an option to, like, once I went into summer school, I wasn't allowed to leave the school I was in, essentially. So, but realistically, if I'm having problems, ADHD or with the spectrum stuff I deal with, normally I have to see, is there something going on in the environment that's overstimulating that's making me not want to do what I'm supposed to.
Yeah. Like I said, I have done this a number of times in my life, and I see it happening with my child. And that is it doesn't matter. I'm never going to beat this. I am obviously just a horrible screw up. And so I might as well just accept that this will be my life for the rest of my life. And then I just sit there at the bottom of the well and I plod and I do exactly what everybody tells me to do. And then I just hate everything. And that's where my kid is. And that's why I'm like, summer school won't do what, it won't have any effect. Because he'll just go to summer school and just accept that he will never see his friends ever again. And because he can't fix this and he doesn't know how to fix it, so he's just going to go and just keep doing the things and coming home and sleeping forever because he's so depressed. Mm-hmm. And that's what's going to end up happening, which is why, no, I'm not going to put him in summer school. That's ridiculous. It won't work. He'll just go to school every day and sit there all day and hate things and try to eke what little bit of enjoyment he can out of playing games when they're not looking, you know. So I said it's critical to me that he understands that he's trying to fix a problem because he made a choice to not mitigate his ADD. That's on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in trouble because he didn't do his assignments. He's in trouble because he didn't do the things he needs to do to mitigate that so he would do his assignments. That's what he busted for. That's critical. Very important. You weren't attacking me. I didn't feel like that at all. I felt like, you know, what you were saying, I agree. That was where I was. At that point, you know, here, let's hit him real good so he knows, you know, he fears that. And I realized that all I ended up doing with him was literally taking everything away from him until he had nothing left to live for, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that's all I'd managed to do. And now he's at the bottom going, well, can't lose anything else, so I'll just kind of cruise through the world now, because he's not old enough to think that he needs to, you know, off himself or anything like that. And I told him, I said, hey, don't listen to that voice. If that voice ever comes up, go get counseling, because we need you here for the rest of your life. You know, you need to stay here, eat with us, and you know, And he says he's never really felt that way, so that's a good thing. Because I did. There's a couple of times in my life where I was like, why the hell am I doing all this? Just give up. So anyway, that's all. I agree. You know, that was something I had thought about doing, and then I just kind of finally realized that it wasn't going to go anywhere. So, it's kind of what I was saying to you earlier, which is you'll never know what your kid needs. You can't plan for it. There's always going to be something. My bell. It's like the ship's bell. Love this thing. We watched the Ultra Suede last night. That was interesting. So, I've been wanting to. I got a whole bunch of my mom or my grandmother's Ultra Suede, and was trying to figure out, can you wash Ultra Suede? I didn't know, so I cut a small piece of the brown Ultra Suede that's actually kind of a horrible color, and we washed it just to see. Because if it didn't wash, then we'd be like, well, it's just a small strip of brown, so who likes that anyway? So. Anyway. That's funny. Okay, we'll be here.
Alrighty.
I mean, Brent. I mean, I'm all about it. I'm not stopping until this place is back into order. And if that means that's what I'm doing tonight, then that's what I'm doing tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good with it. Oh, I'll make a caveat. I'll put an asterisk on here, by the way. And that is, I'm going to be working tonight unless, like, for example, somebody decides to watch, like, a movie together online or something like that. If that occurs, then I will probably be late or whatever, but I'll make sure to put something in the Quack chat and alert folks if that occurs. We really can't watch TV or anything without him watching TV too. So the odds of us doing something are kind of slim. Yep. Brent was saying earlier what I was saying. School's there. Teach one thing and one thing only. That's how to interface with the world. How to meet deadlines. And I feel like that's probably the reason why why schools are a target. School where you first really run into the no, you cannot have everything you want. You need to find an alternative plan. And that means that they're the first people to be targeted at that point. And this is coming from somebody who was a teacher. Actually had to deal with that. That's my opinion. All right. Labels. Here. Labels. So that when I send things. Oh, hey, Brent. Were you going to get Armageddon Divinity? Was that your battle plan? Because if it is, we might piggyback Armageddon Divinity and Book 3 if you ever want to buy that. All right. Oh, there's a bird on the back patio. George is like, Brian's book. I mean, Kane's book. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Although realistically, if you do decide to go schooly on all of us, we'll just buy hosting and move the website over to that. That's fair. I'm just trying to consolidate. Really? She's a little early. I'll talk to her. Be back in a sec.
Okay. Hello? Still on the show? Yes. Messages from Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Hello.
So, yeah, Mariah is calling. So I talked to her at lunch while she transfers between two schools. So you can talk to Brent.
Hi, Brad.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to her for a minute. I'll be back in a sec.
Is it an interesting show today? It's a long show. Yes, it is. It's a long show. No. Okay. You have to do your lunch out. What were you thinking? Oh. You're really fucking good. So, school and society. I won't add to it. If the conversation's already ended, I'll let it go. Please do. Cool. I see a lot of people using Kubernetes on the Pis. I don't know why, if there's anything especially unique about why people like doing that. Bump into it a lot. Might also try, like, if you find yourself resetting the Pi a lot, using Ansible with a configuration script. So every time you reset it, you can just run your Ansible and it'll just install everything for you the way you work. I need to write a CLI for my company so that it does all that for them. They don't need to. I used to use Bash a lot for that. Ansible is pretty cool. It makes it really simple. You can set up a YAML file and have all your configs. Also, Chef, if you're used to Chef, but that's more Ruby. If you're used to Ruby. I would miss that. That's my thing. That's my jam. Setting up infrastructure. That's what brings me joy. And sometimes if the configuration is simple enough, Bash is no need to install set up Ansible.
I've never used Puppet, but it's also similar to Shark. Scripts.
Well, just giving ideas. I'm probably going to take everything here and like redo some of the stuff that's in here, stuff like that. But
You can have a rewrite like the paragraphs for you too, and be like, "Can you make this more succinct?" Or grammar on this. And be like, "Praise back."
I just feel bad that I'm not talking to you guys, but you know, it's like this is the time that she calls, so I'm like, I'll be right back. I promise.
yeah, it's fine.
It's only a couple of minutes, and she'll be at her other school. So.
I wore a collared shirt today because I had a meeting with a client, so had to look all business.
Business as you can get in a Hawaiian shirt.
Not a Hawaiian. This one's not Hawaiian.
It's without the pattern, but it's the same style of shirt.
It's just a dress shirt.
Mm-hmm. You want to go? Well, I mean,
And then my teammate shows up in just a t-shirt, so I was like, okay, I overdressed. But the shirt I was going to wear was going to be a tie-dye shirt, and I'm thinking, they might not want the clients seeing the devs in just tie-dye shirts. And then none of them turned on their cameras. That's rude. There was like 6 of them. They were all just no camera. Okay.
what do you expect? They're the ones that make the money. They make the big bucks.
No, they're paying. They're the clients. They're paying.
And they didn't want to show their face?
Right. We were there to help them.
Jeez. Sounds hungry.
Mm-hmm. Then they were doing this whole thing trying to upload a file to an AWS bucket. And they were using like pre-signed URLs and all this stuff and wrote an entire JavaScript to do it. And I'm like, you could just use the AWS CLI, but I'm like, you know what? It's working. I am not going to throw them for a loop that you could have just spent a minute doing this. All right, folks. I'm going to go.
Oh, so are you hungry now?
I'll leave them to you.
Are you hungry now, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I just need to make sure no one's checking.
Okay. Bye, Bill.
Bye.
We love you.
Love you all too.
I'm having fun on the computer right now with just giving ideas. Sorry for being so boring. I think I found a book series for within mine and Bill's comics. I'll just have to see if he digs it. All right, cool. I am enjoying. I can't hear you, guy. So I guess you're talking to Maya.
I'm talking to Maya, but yeah, I mean, I've got the volume turned off on my microphone. But she's asking me about like an email, and I'm like, oh,
Oh, okay.
just made it difficult for myself. I don't know where this email went. We'll figure it out.
Huh?
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you get back to talking to Maya. So. And to everyone else, I'm going to just head off right now because, well, quite frankly, I am starting to get hungry now.
Yeah, maybe we'll go ahead and kill the stream out. I think, with Mariah talking to me and stuff like that, now I'm looking through emails. I think I'm not going to be any fun on the stream anyway. So I'll see you guys all tonight because, like I said, I'm going to try to stream tonight because I'm not going anywhere. I'm still in quarantine. So might as well stream tonight and stuff too. So we'll see you all tonight. And as always, keep your eyes in the stars. Bye bye.